Throttle Freaks GT3 League hits the Monza combined circuit tonight, a cathedral of speed where GT3 machines go full throttle on the legendary oval and road course combined. With just 4 rounds left, every move matters. 45 minutes of slipstreams, bravery, and championship pressure are about to unfold. Monza doesn't forgive, the title fight doesn't wait. Let's go racing. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello and welcome to Nexus. Indeed, you're here watching the Throttle Freaks GT3 League as we take a look here at the grid. Stephen McDonald once again on the top spot with Oleg Lovkov alongside for the Solprec Precision Racing team. Jack Hedgecoach has to settle for third with William Fenton alongside in fourth. Jacob Fichtner, he manages to make his way up there in an AM-class car. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, he's there in fifth with Jerome Baffium in sixth. Dale Peterson takes 7th with Brett Furman in 8th, and then Tyler Graff in 9th with Sean Provost rounding out your top 10.
And we have Steve McLean in 11th, and Mark Kalin is in 12th. 13th place, we have Dave Jensen with Colin McKenzie beside him in 14th, Andrew Trickett 15th, Felix Feliz is in 16th, Andrew Venaro 17th, we have Jason Park 18th, Evan Jones is 19th. Jeff Evans rounds out the top 20. Ian Cabana 21st. David Morris 22nd. Jay Steffi. And we're going to keep going, folks. We're getting underway. We got a nice short lap here, pace lap at Monza combined zippy 10-kilometer long track.
Indeed it is. We can see Frank Pisano is going to be there in 25th with Kevin Bergquist in 26th. Herbert Pineda takes 27th with Pete Mahaya. I think I got that wrong already, ladies and gentlemen, in 28th. Seb Gauthier takes 29th with Jared Keane rounding out your top 30. David Bush, the third, ladies and gentlemen, is there in 31st with Neil Alexander in 32nd. Ryan O'Connor takes 33rd with Drew DeWeese in 34th. Carsten Quint takes 35th and Christopher Rhines rounds out 36th.
Yeah, we've got a huge field. 37th, we got James Hand. Then we have Jason King, Matt Mars, Chase Matsko, top 40. Andy Mills, 41st. Josh going 42nd. Barry Cochran, 43rd. Rounding out our field, Robert Jeffries in 44th.
Well, I've got to say that is an absolutely incredible field of cars. Ladies and gentlemen, 44 cars on the grid. Indeed, we are going to see some battles here today, and the draft is going to be incredibly potent. But we are hearing already that Stephen has had a little bit of a technical issue there, Stephen McDonald, and for lack of better words, that completely sucks, ladies and gentlemen. What a time to indeed have a hardware or indeed a software issue, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, he's going to miss the start of this rather unusual layout of Monza. You can see here they're a little bit further over than they normally would be. And I've got to say the confines looking rather tight here as they make their way down the straight.
Yeah, turn 1 will be a little different because we're going to be on the oval for the first section. 2.6 mile oval, Zippy. That's like the size of NASCAR as they're starting underway on the high banking at Monza.
Well, I've got to say, this makes me think of places where you try and set a land speed record, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, Oleg Lovkov is going to be out there in front. I have a feeling we're going to see some very interesting moves, as already I could have sworn I saw a little bit of contact there back in P3, P4. And ladies and gentlemen, you want to see free wide, you are 100% going to get it here at Throttle Freaks as they make their way down towards the right-hander.
Oh man, all this exciting. And look at here, Jacob Fichtner in third place. Zippy, Jacob Fichtner, the amateur, having a great race last week, right up at the front here tonight. Good job, Jacob.
I got a feeling this is going to end in tears, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think it's going to be tears of laughter. Certainly Jacob Fichtner there is having an absolutely potent battle so far. And indeed, you can pretty much make it so you can't pass there, ladies and gentlemen, as Jack Hedgecoach is currently the meat in that sandwich, ladies and gentlemen, and trying to give Oleg Lovkov a little bit of a push forward here as Jacob Fichtner trying to make his way there towards the lead as we check out the fine shrubbery here at Monza.
Yeah, as we're coming around, you complete now. They're going into the regular part of Monza. Turn 1, the first or turn 1 regular track.
Bye bye.
Big incidents back there. Yeah, it's Brett Thurman, not Jacob Fichtner. Jacob Fichtner's up to second now. That first turn at Monza, the regular track, is usually catastrophic, or can be, and it looks like it was tonight.
Well, certainly, it's definitely proved to be a challenging place so far. As we have a replay here for Matt Mars, ladies and gentlemen, in that BMW. You see there, that is one of the SLT cars taking a little bit of a detour to the side of your screen. But you see there, the BMW gets a little bit of a wiggle, gives a little bit of a nudge, and on the pack out there, able to get back out of it. But you can see there, the SLT black car rejoining indeed, free wide right ahead of him. What could possibly go wrong, ladies and gentlemen, as they make their way past the pace truck? Here's a replay with Kevin Bergquist.
Yeah, Kevin Bergquist coming up. Everybody tightening up. The accordion effect here, concertina effect, whatever you want to call it. We take a look. little bum and grinding. It looks like Pete Mejia getting a little involved. A couple cars off track, but you know, it looks like we had Andy Mills, Chase Matsko, Nick Bruno, James Hand all having a little bit of issues there on lap 1.
Yeah, definitely MONZA a very challenging circuit indeed, but Jacob Fichtner is indeed up there in P2, ladies and gentlemen, with 42.5 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, Jack Hedgecoach, he's currently there in 3rd, and definitely doing pretty good for an M-Class lead, ladies and gentlemen. His next nearest competition is in P10 in a Lamborghini.
And he's doing pretty good for a pro driver too, Jacob Fichtner. He's certainly putting on a clinic here the last 2 weeks. Right up there with the fastest of the fast, right in between Oleg Lovkov and Jack Hedgecoach. William Fenton sitting in 4th.
Well, certainly, definitely a good place to be, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, I have a feeling the draft is absolutely crucial here, and I do have to wonder as well about how the tyre wear will be on such a heavily banked circuit. Certainly, I have a feeling that the outside tyres will indeed be taking a bit more of a punishment here, as Sean Provost's looking to try and make a move here on what I believe is Mark Kalin.
Yeah, Sean Provo having himself a good race thus far. Sean Provo, look at this banking, Zippy. I mean, the incredible height and the angle degrees. I think they're like 35 degrees or something in the banking there at Monza.
Well, certainly we'd have to get a protractor out for that one, and indeed I am not going to stand on the track and try and measure in front of these cars. Don't get me wrong, the sound wave would be absolutely incredible, but certainly would not be a very safe place to stand here. As you can see, an absolute concertina of cars there making their way through the fine Italian street that is Monza.
Yeah, as we take a look at Jason Park, we've got a nice battle here. Jason Park, Evan Jones, a whole gaggle of cars coming into bumping, grinding, a little bit over the curb, a little bit of a fender-to-fender action, but everybody getting through relatively unscathed this time around.
Well, it did sound like Richard Swindell says, oh my gosh, become an R. Kelly fan as I believe I can fly. It may be the fault there by Jason Park. The front bumper totally mullered at that occasion, ladies and gentlemen. It may have even switched over to George Michael and had a bit of a wow.
Yeah, that may be the case, Zippy. That may be the case.
I already got him, guys. I already got him.
Already got me. Oh man, when will the season end, folks? When will it end? We're on week
4
7
weeks.
Here at Throttle
Four
Freaks.
weeks.
Four weeks. Take a look. Let's see what happened with Jason Park here, coming down in the infield section. Oh, and not Jason Park's issue. Somebody else up ahead of him, spinning off track. That was Sean Provo in the SRTE car.
Yeah, he's definitely not had the start that he was looking for, but indeed, I think there may have been a car in there that was pretty much planted at that point, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, I'm not sure what a Porsche grows, as indeed, absolute chaos there. And that looks like a little bit of a connection issue as well. That Mustang pretty much ricocheting. We have a high-speed game of pinball occurring through the right-hander.
Yeah, that's not really what you want to see in a motor car race, is it, Zippy? So we take a look at Tyler Graff. Hey, Tyler Graff's got one of those paint schemes you always like, Zippy, in the Porsche tonight.
Yeah, the pop-up Porsches are indeed making a return here, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler Graff in the 771, currently resting there in P7 or indeed P4 in class, ladies and gentlemen, representing that pro class indeed. I have to say, definitely looking for a few more of these Madworks cars. I see a little bit of an absence for him this evening. Certainly, Tyler Graff may indeed be rocking himself, rocking solo this evening, but certainly we've got a good mix here as well. The 2 AMGs are currently leading the field, followed by 3 Ferraris and another AMG. So I have to wonder, are these 2 cars particularly strong here? The Porsche, the highest placed Porsche actually being driven by Tyler Graff in 7th place.
Yeah, they're not usually known for their top speed. Aaron Morgan, his teammate, is not here. That's the other car you're looking for, Zippy. But unfortunately, he's not here. But Oleg Lovkov still up front. But Jacob Fichtner, the amateur, right in behind. Jacob Fichtner doing a fabulous job of maintaining his position. I wasn't sure how long he'd be able to hold on to this, but we are now 6.5 minutes through this race. We're on lap 3 of about 17, maybe 18 laps. Jacob Fichtner doing a fabulous job keeping up with Oleg Lovkov. Jack Hedgecoach in behind in 3rd.
Well, what I can say is I'm just reading over the fixed steward reports as well from the bend, ladies and gentlemen. It's fair to say Dave Jensen had a little bit of a chat there with the stewards, and I got to say, credit where due to Nick McLaughlin here for some of his notes. One of the moves being described as a package that was too heavy for the amount of stamps applied. Well, certainly at least the Postal Service wasn't on strike, I'll give you that.
Well, at least that is the case. Well, I mean, every now and then they don't go on strike, Zippy, so I'll leave that alone. But Stephen McLean. Take a look here, the 85 car of Stephen McLean. There you go, Zippy, another one of your favorite paint schemes, just ahead of Stephen Ace Motorsports Maverick car.
Yeah, definitely got to check out that beautiful Aston Martin. Indeed, very underrepresented here in actually not just in Throttle Freaks, but in most leagues where we see Aston Martin being available. Ladies and gentlemen, have you not had the urge to be James Bond? Don't get me wrong, I've got the sexy accent, but certainly don't have the sex appeal or indeed the covert operational skills of a secret agent. And not only that, I'm pretty far from subtle, but certainly right now, Evan Jones there, he's doing pretty good. He's in P11 overall as we check in here with William Fenton, who's starting to lose the back of the pack here by about 1.2 seconds.
Yeah, draft is paramount, and you want to have any success, you really need the draft, but William Fenton's kind of hung out a little bit on his own, but Jerome Berthume is in behind him, and Dale Peterson right with them as well, so perhaps these three drivers can work together, pull themselves up, and catch up to that pack ahead of them.
Yeah, certainly this is going to be one of those venues where teamwork may be quite advantageous if you pretty much go with that approach. Indeed, duke it out at the end, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, we're riding on board with what I believe is the Australian driver of William Fenton. He's currently in 4th place overall, 3rd in class, with Jerome Berthume applying a bit of pressure there, about 0.6 of a second back.
Yeah, Jerome Berthume sitting in a comfortable position, but he's up 1 spot on the day in 5th overall. 1st in class, nothing bad there. Dale Peterson 2nd in the Pro-Am division.
Well, I had a feeling that Dale Peterson always used to have a spicy paint, but certainly is looking a little bit tame on this occasion. Maybe I'm getting a little bit mixed up here. Indeed, stranger things have happened. There's something is going on with Tyler Graf there. He was in P7 overall, and from what I can see, he's towed back to the pits.
Yeah, Tyler was having some issues during practice with a little bit of connection issues, so looks like iRacing scrutineered him, and the iRacing stewards deemed his connection not good enough to continue at this stage.
Well, that's definitely unfortunate. I haven't been in that situation myself very recently. Right now, we're going to check in with one of the Acuras. It's Colin McKenzie here for Lunatic Racing. Indeed, if that is a correct label, I'm expecting him to do one hell of a center. Ladies and gentlemen, quite mild-mannered here at Monza. Indeed, applying a good amount of pressure to the back of that 62 Mustang. That is Mark Kalin with Andrew Trickett right behind in the Mercedes.
Well, Zippy, we're 10 minutes into this race. Have you ever raced the Monza Combined? Because I certainly haven't. I've done many races at the regular Monza track. First time ever broadcasting or actually being at this version.
I believe I may have done one once in the Lotus 49, and by say I done one once, I think I wrecked on the first lap. Yeah. So I may have tried it. But certainly the Lotus 49. Yeah, the Lotus 40. Wow. I got a podium at Monza last time I raced it, so that's enough out of you, sunshine. And I believe you were in that race as well. But moving on, I'd say the Lotus 49 is kind of like trying to drive a high-speed cucumber, ladies and gentlemen. The British Racing Green looks good, but it has the turning ability of a vegetable.
Well, that could be said. We'll take a look at Mark Kalin with the in-car camera. Mark Kalin graciously showing that for What a Back Racing. Just a reminder, folks, if you want to get a little more chance of more screen time, sharing your camera feeds certainly does help. We like to show them, let people at home see what the drivers are experiencing.
Yeah, certainly if you're running an OnlyFans feed as well, personally, I'm sure we can cut you in on that as well. As right now, well, that was the quickest way I ever got rid of a camera, ladies and gentlemen. Jerome Berthume, once again, rocking that Solpack team shirt indeed. And by all means, I believe it's j.berthume / OnlyFans or something along those lines, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to try and find that link. But currently, he's in 4th place, ladies and gentlemen, or indeed 4th base, as he's currently rocking that 217 and leading the Pro-Am class.
He's leading the Pro-Am class. William Fenton dropping back down to 5th. He wasn't able to make gains on Jack Hedgecoke's up ahead, so Jerome Berthume's going to try and take a look and see if he can pull this pack up to the 3 podium guys up ahead. Now Dale Peterson's up to the point.
Yeah, it's only Dale Peterson. I felt sure it was his livery that had some spicy stuff on it, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, I'm sure there was a few. No, it's Dave Jensen. My apologies, Dave Jensen in the 692 that we're going to have to take a look at later, ladies and gentlemen. I believe had the Chupacabra and indeed Camel towing on it. But certainly, ladies and gentlemen, no ways to get more screen time. Make the make the livery humorous, dirty, or indeed entertaining at some point. As here we see David Bush III also rocking that chupacabra, and indeed Carol towing on the rear wheel arches. But currently a good couple of Lamborghinis here in the field, and right now, not even only that, we got a few of them together, ladies and gentlemen. 1, 2, and 3 Lamborghinis all rocking together in 21st, 22nd, and indeed 23rd place.
Yeah, I expect the Lamborghinis to do well here. I mean, you just think Lamborghini, you think high speed, and so far so good. I see, take him looking coming down in this section. I don't even know what corner this is, Zippy. I think this is turns 3 and 4 now. That's normally turns 1 and 2 here at Monza, but using a little bit of the dirt, you always have to use all the track to maximize your pace. Driver's doing that good job so far.
Well, certainly indeed, definitely a few positions in play, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, I think the biggest thing would be to make sure that you can try and save fuel in the draft. Certainly the Lamborghini, not known to be the most fuel efficient car on the field, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, come to efficiency, I'm trying to think what really would be the most efficient. The BMW, honestly, not that bad. The McLaren, again, not too bad, but certainly the Mustang, I'd say, probably known to be a little bit of a gunslinger, as indeed is the Mercedes. But by all means, yourself, a more frequent, indeed, more experienced GT3 driver than myself, certainly Rob would be as well. I'm not sure who would be the most fuel efficient in this field.
Yeah, I really have no idea. I'm not the most experienced GT3 racer. That would be our producer, but producer can't talk. We don't let him talk here, folks. We're going to take a look at Matt Mars driving around. Matt Mars joined us, I believe, earlier this season, may have been the end of last season in Throttle Freaks. Matt Mars is sitting in 38th place right now. He's sitting in 15th in class right now, looking to catch up to James Hand up ahead.
Yeah, certainly James Hand, my fellow Brit, currently doing quite well. Certainly it's not the strongest race we've seen, but certainly when it comes back to our producer there being able to talk, we do indeed have him bound up and gagged in the back of the production booth.
Whoa, big wheelie there by Matt Mars, taking a little bit of the curb and then a little bit too much. What a great save, though.
And you can see there at the bottom, producer Rob, who hired these commentators. Ladies and gentlemen, desperate times call for desperate measures. Indeed, you ended up with me here on Racing Nexus, for which I don't apologize, ladies and gentlemen. You either love it or you hate it. As you can see there, that is my fine photogenic self there, as we see there, that looks a little bit like Road Rash. But right now, Jacob Fichtner, he's having an absolute belter of a day so far. He's not only in P2 overall, but he's not only that, 13 positions clear of his nearest competition, that is Ian Cabana, who's back there in the Ferrari in 15th place. Belter.
That is most impressive, Sabia. I'm just going by memory, and I'm old. My memory isn't good. I thought Fichtner was going to make a move, but why is he tucking back in? Let's follow the tail of Oleg Lovkov. So far, these three drivers, I think they're just comfortable being where they are, opening up a little gap from the guys behind. Maybe they're just a little battling once the pit stop cycle is finished.
Yeah, honestly, if this was me, I would be trying to save as much fuel as possible. And certainly Jack Edgecote is no stranger at strategy, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly looking at the iRate as well, he is pretty highly ranked. Oleg Lovkov, 7,011 iRate. He is the highest ranked driver we have here in the race today. But certainly the two guys next to him, definitely no amateurs by any means. But fair play, Jacob Fichtner, 2,208 IR, and is rocking this podium position.
Yeah, Jacob is my people, Zippy. He's our people. That's our level. I mean, let's be honest. I'm not going to be up there no matter what my I rating is. Jacob Fichtner getting the job done tonight. Sorry to keep talking about him, but it's really nice to see a little bit of a mix-up up at the front of the pack. We're going to go back a little further, though. Ian Cabana, car 774, having himself a good battle here. Ian Cabana currently 15th place for Crikey Esports.
Yeah, well, what I do see there is Herbert Pineda has managed to pick up a slowdown flag, ladies and gentlemen, which is definitely not what he had in mind. Indeed, probably getting a little bit too flirtatious there with the track limits. Certainly going through that chicane, it's definitely easily done. We'll take a quick look here at a replay, though. Ryan O'Connor for Soulbreak Precision Racing Black going side by side, getting a little bit of a catch there with the other Lamborghini, and for lack of better words, becomes a little bit of a gymnast on that occasion. Absolutely goes full on sugar babes, round baby, right round, and rejoins the track.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, it is the Winter Olympics, so that looked like he may have done a triple axel there. A little bit of figure skating action, unfortunately, for Ryan O'Connor. Herbert Pineda, though, sitting 16th place. Herbert Pineda not having the best week this week or last week, going by memory. He's shown some great pace earlier this season and in past seasons. not his best race so far, but in it to win it, he's still going forward.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to see Richard Swindell's do a triple axle, if you'd like to donate 12 bottles of beer, ladies and gentlemen, to Racing Nexus, we will indeed give them to Richard Swindell's and pretty much just encourage him. Oh, I'm sorry, 20 bottles of beer. My apologies, I didn't think you had the stamina in you there, Richard. 20 bottles of beer, and indeed we'll try and get Richard to do a triple axle. Certainly myself, I would enjoy watching that, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly we would indeed live stream it here on Racing Nexus. Sorry, Rob, but certainly would be entertaining to see as Kevin Berquist for Crikey Esports, ladies and gentlemen, is currently there in 15th place, and I do believe that would be a teammate ahead. It is indeed Ian Cabana in that matching Ferrari. I would say this is a good opportunity. These guys work together. They could absolutely slingshot themselves forward through the order by using great pit strategy. They can save a bunch of fuel and indeed move mountains, ladies and gentlemen, should they pull this strategy off.
Yeah, well, the best way to approach this race, Zippy, especially on the oval section, is the drafting. And teammates working together is the only way you're going to advance. There's too much time you're going to lose on that 2.6 mile oval, 4.25 kilometers for you, those of you who like to use metric units.
I'm sorry, I'm not one of them, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, despite the fact I'm in Canada, I will use miles an hour. As oh dear, that looks like it hurt. Certainly the leopard print, while being quite flirtatious and quite promiscuous, ladies and gentlemen, was not enough to keep him from getting out of harm's way. And indeed, Neil Alexander having to take the scenic route there through the drive-through.
Well, that's why they've got that there, Zippy. If they didn't want us to use it, they wouldn't have put it there. That's what I say. Take a look at Nick Bruno. Oh, a little bit of calamity on the exit of turn 3 at the chicane.
Yeah, a little bit of Porsche on Porsche on Porsche action there, as indeed my comrade has decided to run a counter on how many times I say, ladies and gentlemen, that'll be 26 now. Let's see how many, if you'd like to put your bets on in the chat. I'm just going to be me, ladies and gentlemen, and I make no apologies for that, but we'd be curious to see indeed how many we can get up to, and indeed how many shots Richard Swindell's will have to take after the show as a result.
Oh man, I don't know if I have enough liquor in the cabinet, but if I do, I'll try and get through it, Zip. I'm going to keep that tally counter hidden though, so you can't see it, so you won't know what the count's at. We'll disclose it at the end, folks. The over-under, I think, is at 55.
Well, taking a look at the points though before we get too excited, let's have a look. We've got 3 sets of points and indeed 3 sets of drivers. And we're going to start it off here with the pro, ladies and gentlemen, with Stephen McDonald, 273 points. That is indeed about 14 points clear of Jack Hedgecote. And currently, this is looking pretty good for Jack, as Stephen McDonald's had some technical issues and disconnected, as has Tyler Graf, who's in third with 242, just 2 points clear of Aaron Morgan, and indeed Brett Furman with 219. Looking at the pro-am, Jerome Buffum is absolutely dominating so far. He is indeed 37 points clear of Seb Gauthier, and indeed himself and Jason Park getting in there, 4 points difference in there. And then a little bit further back, Herbert Pineda having a little bit of a slowdown earlier on. He's 4 points clear of Dale Peterson in the pro-am. But taking a look at the AM, my fellow British man is James Hand. He's leading with 164 points. Jacob Fickner in second with 142. This is looking like a really good opportunity for him. Certainly James Hand back down in the 30th places of the grid. And Jacob Fickner up there in P2, ladies and gentlemen. This could be a huge swing for next week. Ian Cabana, though, himself, Carson Quinn, and indeed Dave Jensen, just 4 points between all 3 of them.
And we also have some team championship points. Sopa Precision Racing Black, 550 points. They've got 12-point lead over Madworks. Riot Motorsports, a little bit behind in third. They're about 48 points back. Going Racing, SRT, Black, Solpic, Precision Racing, Yellow, round out your top 5.
Well, I don't know what number Rob's just put in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, but certainly if that's what the count's at, I need a raise. But indeed, some interesting things going on here. We're taking a look on board with Jack Hedgecote, who's currently in P3. William Benson about 4.8 seconds behind. Indeed, he is currently rocking another pack. Now, you've got to wonder as well, can himself, Dale Peterson, and Jerome Buffum work together to try and catch up to the podium pack? It's going to take some coordination. Indeed, if you're William Benson, you're pretty much punching out a Ferrari-shaped hole in the air for the 2 drivers behind you. And that's just going to be nothing but an opportunity. Certainly, Jerome Buffum is, I'd say, in the best scenario from here, because right now, it's not where the position is that's going to matter. If the point standings had it, that you got points for leading a lap, or indeed, can you imagine that, actually, Richard, if you had points for, if you got a point for every lap position you're in, how incredibly varied the championship standings could be.
Well, thank goodness they don't do that, Sippy, because we don't have enough fingers and abacuses here to calculate those points. Take a look at the drivers coming down straight away. We're about almost halfway through this race. People coming into the pits. I don't think the pit window can be very big here tonight, Zip, because it's a 10-kilometer long track.
Yeah, certainly. It's not going to be the kind of track where you just go one more lap. But certainly, Richard Swindell showing his age there, ladies and gentlemen. Abacus and fingers. Now, either that's a age thing or that's a sophistication thing.
I know how you are with tech, Zippy. I figured the abacus you can handle, so that's why I said abacus. So it's not my age. It's, hey, I'll leave it alone there.
Oh, certainly myself right now, I'm surrounded by 3 screens, 2 Steam Decks, a mixer, a shifter, a tablet, and an iPhone. And I can't work about 70% of the features on it, so ladies and gentlemen. Definitely some fun stuff there. And hang on a second here. 3 microphones, a ring light, not that ring light, 2 cameras, and indeed a spotlight as well. As indeed I seem to have cracked the producer on this occasion, as he's giggling in the background.
We'll take a look here, though. We do have some race action on the screen here.
You're taking a look, Richard?
Yeah, well, you know, it is going on in the background, so we should take a look every now and then and see what's going on screen with Dale Peterson. A little bit of a 3-car train here.
You know what? I come here to commentate, but that's not the biggest incentive. Cracking these 2 up honestly gets me a little bit more. But right now, Dale Peterson currently in 3rd place for Riot Motorsports, and saying that, he's doing really well. He's currently leading the Pro-Am class here in the standings right now. But don't get me wrong, pit stops are going to mix that up a little bit there. Oleg Lovkov is currently leading the charge for Jack Hedgecoach, one of the early people going for a pit, looking to try and make a little bit of an undercut strategy.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Jack Hedgecoach and Jacob Fichtner might work together here to try and get by Oleg Lovkov, who's kind of hung out by himself now. That said, he was leading. He wasn't getting the draft advantage from the guys ahead of him. He hasn't had anybody ahead of him since the get-go tonight.
Well, certainly, I don't think he's going to be able to save any if you're being that far ahead. But I think Jack Hedgecoach has got a good solid strategy here. But Jacob Fichtner, I have a feeling, is going to be the one who's going to benefit most out of it, indeed. As I got to say, this course, a little bit of a drag race there, as that appears to be someone taking a little bit of a scenic route there, mowing the lawn, as Jacob Fichtner looks to try and make his way past the lap car as well.
Yeah, Jacob Fichtner doing a good job here, getting by. Sure who that was getting by, but we're gonna go look at Dave Jensen diving up the inside here, making that move. Dave Jensen using all the curb, then swinging out. Oh, a little bit of crash at points. I believe that's Pete Mejia. It looks like Pete Mejia's paint job. Pete Mejia doing a good job of situational awareness, managing to hold that position.
Yeah, Neil Alexander, ladies and gentlemen, doing that. Don't get me wrong, fair play by Richard. Honestly, I don't know most of these drivers either, but the one that they were dodging just a moment ago was the 22 of Jared Keane, who's now brought it down pit road. And indeed, about half the field's brought it down pit road, including this man, ladies and gentlemen, the 690 of Oleg Lovkov. So the interesting thing's going to be is how that works out. As Jack Hedgecoach absolutely somersaulting through the field, ladies and gentlemen. Is it going to be enough? He's now ahead of William Fenton. Is it going to be enough to get himself ahead of Oleg Lovkov? That gap coming down 2 seconds, 1.8 seconds, 1.6 seconds, 1.4. He can see the target at 1.2. There we go. Attaboy, Rob. I thought you'd get the hint. 1 second. Indeed, he is closing in, and Lovkov is pretty much a sitting duck at this point. Hedgecoach has played it perfectly, and not only that, Jacob Fichtner now hung out to dry. He's lost the draft.
Yeah, that's the tough thing with the pits, but doesn't look like Oleg Lovkov is going to give up the ghost just yet. Jack Hedgecoach is going to have to apply a little more pressure, get tucked right up, and take full advantage of that draft. Jacob Fichtner wasn't able to get by him earlier. Let's see if Jack Hedgecoach can.
Certainly, indeed, he can, and pressure definitely being applied as well. Certainly, myself, if this is me, Richard, I would sit behind Oleg Lovkov until the last lap and then pretty much do a blitz of a run at the start-finish straight. I don't think being ahead is going to be the way to go, but that asks the question, you know, if you're Lovkov, how do you defend against that? Because there's not really a lot you can do. Sure, pretty much deliberately slowing into a corner and hoping Hedgecoach is actually has to, you know, almost make an evasive maneuver and take the position. It's a hard thing to play.
Yeah, I think there's not much you can do on that oval with that high banking and the long straights, and they're full out. So if Hedgecoach gets by him on the oval, at least Oleg Lovkov has an opportunity on the road course section to get back, but it's a little bit tougher to pass there, especially with the narrow long straightaway.
There's definitely some opportunities here, as indeed we have got some battles, ladies and gentlemen. As an Aston Martin of Evan Jones just ahead himself. One of the, I think the only Aston Martin in the field, ladies and gentlemen, for which I'm a little disappointed. I'd love to see a few more there, but right now, right behind him, it's Kevin Bergquist and Jay Steffi.
Yeah, Kevin Bergquist, originally an AM driver in this Throttle Freaks League, now up in Pro-Am because of the success he had. Having himself a little bit of a battle here with Evan Jones, Jay Steffi. These guys all in the mid-pack right now. Looks like everybody is taking their pits now. Got 17.5 minutes left to go. We're on lap 10 here, Zippy. I think we're going to get about 17 laps in tonight.
Yeah, certainly, and it is a pretty much a full throttle lap, ladies and gentlemen, here at Throttle Freaks here for MONZA combined circuit, ladies and gentlemen. And certainly, the biggest thing I would say take away from this is you've got to carry that momentum. Personally, this here, my favorite couple of corners, you got to really start getting flirtatious there with them sausage curbs. You can cut them by quite a lot. You'd be surprised just how generous the track limits are through there, as David Bush the third now appears to be behind a teammate, ladies and gentlemen, of 51 of Jeff Evans.
Yeah, you can cut the curbs quite strongly, as you say, but as we saw what happened to Matt Mars, if you do cut them too much, yeah, you're not going to get an off track, but you're going to pop a wheelie, Zippy, and it makes it really hard to turn when the front wheels aren't on the ground.
Yeah, certainly it's a higher risk strategy, but myself, personally, one of my favorite parts of the track, certainly turn one, it's a little bit of a mark on my thing. You either love it or you hate it. Myself, it's not my favorite corner, but certainly one that has opened up plenty of opportunities. But certainly this back section here, I would love to hear from the drivers if they're actually starting to feel that the outside tires, the left tires there, are getting particularly warm, and if they're feeling it through the rest of the lap.
Yeah, this unlike in NASCAR, these guys are going clockwise. So take a look on board here. Jerome Berthune with the in-car camera going around this high bank oval. That's very, very bumpy. So that adds a little bit of more issues. So he's falling along behind Dale Peterson, getting real close now. Let's see if Jerome Berthune makes a move going into the chicane.
Yeah, I would honestly sit back at this point, just keep applying pressure, and certainly if you find that you get yourself ahead, you could very quickly find that all of a sudden you're going to run out of fuel, because if you spend the majority of your first stint out behind traffic, you're not going to use as much fuel. Indeed, you may even fuel saving as well, because realistically, you know, if you're going to push, you're going to have to push hard and work together and try and do a little bit of bump drafting, because I don't think you're going to be able to leapfrog successfully here at Monza. But certainly myself, I would be trying to play the strategy game. I think if I was close enough, you know what, if I'm Jerome Berthune, would I push Dale Peterson and try and catch up to William Fenton? At this point, probably not. The gap is just too great. However, would I try that if they're like maybe a second ahead? Absolutely.
Yeah, why not? I mean, you're here to race. You're here to do your best and make your best effort. Take a look here, though. Andrew Trickett sitting in 9th place in the B&O Cartamania car. Andrew Trickett, longtime member here of Throttle Freaks, doing a good job, having a good effort this far. 9th overall. Andrew Trickett sitting 4th in class in the Pro-Am division.
Well, one thing I think we probably should do is give a shout out to the hard charger right now, and that's not really a surprising number. It's the A88 car of Josh Goen. He's currently up an astonishing 20 positions, ladies and gentlemen, and indeed, I believe he's been down pit road as well. Fair play to the guy. That's quite the grow up in attrition there. As indeed, teammate there, Jack Hedgecoats, who's currently in 2nd as well. And not only that, he's hovering about 0.3 of a second off the race leader, Oleg Lovkov.
Yeah, Goen Racing has been quite a strong force in Throttle Freaks. This season, no exception. They're down one man, but one of the Goens is not here. Josh doing their best effort, sitting in second. Oh man, here we go again, Zippy. They're sitting in 2nd overall in the team's championship at this stage.
Well, if you're wondering, I guess we know who the starfish is in Richard's relationship, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't believe it's a guy called Patrick, but certainly right now, Drew DeWee is currently there in P21 in that Mustang, ladies and gentlemen, as he makes his way on the inner circuit there, and is going to be heading towards the back section.
It was interesting, Zippy, as we watched the long wall between the oval and the road course. I was trying to figure out, because I've never raced here, like, well, it would be a lot more interesting if they kind of crossed over without a wall, you know, kind of like those those figure eight or demolition derby or chain races they have at the county fairs. But unfortunately, they got a wall, so we don't get that kind of action to broadcast, folks.
I think if you hit that wall hard enough, I'm sure you can launch a GT3 up and over it. Certainly, iRacing physics can be very fascinating when exploited to the max. But currently, Oleg Lovkov is there and ahead, and Jack Hedgecote's actually fallen behind a little bit there. He's dropped about 1/10 of a second. But certainly, myself actually used to be a server admin on an original Wreckfest server that was known as Poop Socks Soot Show. We'll go with that, and indeed, anything goes there. That goes for the text chat as well, as long as it wasn't racist or homophobic. So you can imagine exactly why I fit in, and it wasn't just for my racing skills. Indeed, I'd rock a Grand Duke and pretty much polish anybody off who gave me an incentive, and by that I mean everybody.
Yeah, there we take a look here. Ryan O'Connor and Matt Mars going around the high banked oval. Now coming out onto the road section here at Monza. Nose to tail. Well, speaking of tail, somebody didn't have a tail there, did he?
Yeah, there's not even light up or anything. Certainly, there's definitely a piece missing there. We're going to have to take a look at that. Indeed, it was a Lamborghini that had gone for the open concept. I'm guessing they probably got a little bit of contact in one of the braking zones. We see Matt Mars here with a Lamborghini right behind him. I believe that's one of the Soul Pet cars, ladies and gentlemen. And look at the exit there. Mars pretty much under attack here. But I say, looking at that, that almost looks intentional. Potentially going to chuck back into the draft. No, not quite. He's picked up a slowdown, ladies and gentlemen, and he's going to have to serve it or face the likely repercussion of a black flag.
Yeah, those black flags. Oh, well, it's never a good thing. As we take a look at Steve McLean. Steve McLean, maybe we can get Mr. Producer Man a far chase shot of this. I believe Steve McLean's lost his rear end. And yeah, we get to see a little bit of the machinery behind the Lambo.
Yeah, certainly myself, I would love a V10, and actually, you want to go even bigger. You want to get a V12 car, ladies and gentlemen. Get a Jaguar XJ12. Certainly, or needed XJ, same kind of thing. Pain in the bum at work on, and mechanically not known to be the best. Transmissions, electronics, bodywork, you name it, it's got issues, ladies and gentlemen. But certainly, what used to be considered a very luxurious, very fast car. Hey, look, 10 cylinders is good, 12 cylinders is better, but certainly right now, Jack Hedgecote's in that Ferrari, which I believe has 8 cylinders and 2 turbos, if I'm not mistaken. It's currently applying a good amount of pressure to Oleg Lovkov, because honestly, at this point, I think he's a sitting duck.
We'll have to put a little bet on this. I think Lovkov's holding back a little bit. I think he's going to be able to hold off Hedgecote's, but I'm really hoping to see a great last lap and see what happens. They're on lap 13. We're going to go 17, maybe 18 laps. We're 34 minutes, 45 seconds into this. Just over 10 minutes remaining in this race.
What do you want to bet, Richard? Because my money's on Jack Hedgecote on this occasion. Won't get me wrong. Oleg Lovkov, very capable driver. He's 7 pounds in iRating, but certainly, you know what? The straights are so long, especially near the closing part of the track. I have a feeling Jack Hedgecote is literally waiting for the opportunity and is going to make a move at the very last moment.
Well, that's what I would do, or at least that's what I'd say I'm doing anyways, because I just don't have that kind of pace. But both these drivers have demonstrated they're able to win here at Throttle Freaks, so we will find out in just over 10 minutes time. But going back here, William Fenson now up to third. Jacob Figner dropped to fourth, but Jacob Figner still first in class. The 1, 2, 3 all pros. Then we have an amateur in fourth, folks. Our top pro-am, Jerome Berthume, is in fifth.
Yeah, certainly this is a great opportunity for the 33 of Jacob Fichtner. Indeed, his nearest competition back there in P12. And not only that, serving a slowdown, he's about to drop to P13 as the Aston Martin of Evan Jones does indeed make a pass, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, not only that, they've got Jay Steffi, Jeff Evans, and David Bush the third all around in one pack, ladies and gentlemen. So certainly some interesting statistics as we go side by side there with the Lamborghini and the Mustang, trying to make a run on the outside and pretty have the door closed off in front of him by Jay Steffi.
Oh man, I thought they were going 3 wide. We're deep into this race with Dave Bush third, gucking it up the inside and Steffi. It looks like they're everybody getting through clean, Zip.
Well, we're going to have to find out exactly what happened here to Dale Peterson, as indeed that Mercedes is booked, and yep, fair play. The right front is it's got more sparklers than a Taylor Swift concert, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see exactly what happened here. With Jerome Berthume gets a little bit of a tank slapper over the sausage curbs, and definitely not intentionally, but indeed does absolutely murder that AMG.
Yeah, and so much for your theory about using all those curbs, Zip. That did not work out so well, unfortunately, for Jerome Berthume or Dale Peterson, unfortunately getting caught up in that. But right now, Jack Hedgecote continuing to follow along behind Oleg Lovkov. 8 minutes left. It's going to be a lot more than 8 minutes, though. 10-kilometer track, so as long as they cross the line, there's time remaining. They're going to go around for one more.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought he was getting an upskirt from the audience, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, Jack Hedgecote there in the 88, and I still think that he's biding his time, ladies and gentlemen. He's pretty much playing with his food before he eats it. As Dale Peterson absolutely tumbling through the field, but indeed, it's looking good there for Jason Kinger as well, as he's currently up 20 positions, ladies and gentlemen. Josh Cohen up 22. Recognition where due, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly Barry Cochran up 17 positions as well. Some real hard charges there in the field today. Tyler Graff definitely taking a hit there. Stephen McDonald, he did actually return to the track and currently showing in P35 despite that earlier internet crash.
Yeah, it's Steve McDonald coming back, trying to get some points, at least get some laps in and make it so all that effort he did in practice is not wasted. We'll take a look here, though, at Jason Kinger. Jason Kinger, 18th overall right now, going down the long straightaway. Two cars behind him. We got Jason. Well, look at that, Jason Kinger, Drew DeWeese, Josh Goen.
Well, I definitely want to return to that pack there that I believe has Jay Steppy in it as well, because that looks like it's getting incredibly spicy there. Evan Jones been able to pull away very slightly in the Aston Martin as well. He's cleared him. Jay Steppy definitely no slouch by any means, but these guys here, Jeff Evans, Ian Cabana, and indeed Jared Keane, I believe, is getting in on that action as well. We have a 4, 5, maybe even a 6-car fight going on, and you see the Lambo taking a little bit of a wheel there, a little bit of dust kicked up from ahead as Brett Furman trying to make his way through the back.
Yeah, Brett Thurman having a little bit of issues on the early on. I don't know if it was any fault of his own. We had some little bit of calamity, but Brett Thurman getting a little racy now. Jared Keane up ahead of him. David Bush III. So what that 1, 2, 3 looks like about an 8-car train. We're 39 minutes in. That's pretty good racing, Zip.
Yeah, definitely looking like good race indeed. And he's got a couple of the SRT cars there as well. They could potentially work together and help each other try and move themselves up through the order. They're trying to make their way into the top 10. Certainly Jay Steffi there in P11. You can see opportunity ahead. The Aston Martin though has pulled away by about 9/10, almost a second. If he can break the draft, he's going to be sat in a much better place there. Not only that, Kevin Bergquist just on the edge of draft as well, 1.1 seconds ahead.
Yeah, Kevin Bergquist having himself a good race. Up 17 positions. He's in 4th in class right now.
Well, I can hear Richard Swindell is currently hiccuping, belching, or indeed doing something, ladies and gentlemen. He's just muted himself. And I figured out what I want to bet with the guy. I'm thinking 10 push-ups live on Racer Nexus. My money's on the 88 of Jack Hedgecote.
Either of us can do 10. I know you can't do 10, and I might be able to do 10, but I'm going to lose a lot of weight.
I can do 10. I'll you know what? 10 push-ups.
Push-ups don't count, Zip.
Well, come on with a bet right there now, because my money right now is on Jack Hedgecote in that Ferrari. I think Oleg Lovkov has incredible talent, but I don't think he has any way to possibly defend against the Ferrari right behind.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. That is for sure. But I think I'll get that money, Zip. I took the over, so I think I'm well in hand to make my money on the over, so I'll be able to pay off if I lose that bet. Meanwhile, we go back here, following along with these two leaders. It's been like this for the longest time, ever since the pits. Oleg Lovkov doing a good job of getting out of the pits and holding off Jack Hedgecote, but Jack Hedgecote just biding his time, as Zippy says, looking to see when the best opportunity is to make that pass or attempt that pass, as Jeff Evans is in the middle of this little gaggle of cars, Zip.
But certainly, I'm having a couple of questions here myself, and I'm wondering if Richard's got a bet on how many times I said, ladies and gentlemen, who's got the other end of it? Because certainly, I'm going to back them instead of Richard, certainly, and I can say that phrase to my heart's content. I have a reputation to uphold, ladies and gentlemen. Destroy, uphold, embrace, whichever way you see there. And see a little bit of a flick of contraction there from the Mustang of Jeff Evans. He's definitely applying a good amount of pressure. Jay Steppy just ahead. And the biggest thing there with Monza is you've got to keep that momentum going. They are high-speed corners. Certainly, we get a speedo up. You'll see in just a few short moments just how fast these guys are having to go. With Jay Steppy there doing a little bit of promotion for Racer Nexus as well.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jay. We appreciate that. Up the front still, Oleg Lovkov holding up Jack Hedgecote. William Fenson in 3rd. Then the next pro driver is Jay Steffi all the way down 11th. And we've got Jacob Figner an amateur sitting fourth. Man, oh man, we got a big mix-up in the field. Colin McKenzie now the top Pro-Am. He's sitting in fifth. Andrew Trickett in sixth is the second place Pro-Am. So lots of drivers having lots of points gains tonight.
We're definitely running quite a long gear set here today at Monza, 166 mile an hour. That's definitely, that's quicker than most cars will do. Certainly a good bit of fun indeed, but right now, a race car, certainly a GT3, not known for the top speed necessarily, more for the handling and the grip. You could probably get a little bit more out of it if you trimmed it out a little bit, but certainly you do still need to have that grip for the high-speed corners. Indeed, 170 mile an hour. You see Jack Hedgecock's there in the drop, and I've got to be honest, he really isn't catching up much. He's staying there with Oleg Lovkov. But where this is a fixed servo, I do have to wonder exactly how it's going to work out in the long run. Maybe the Ferrari just doesn't have the gearing to be able to make the pass.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't have the gearing, or maybe he's just not pushing it. Maybe he's letting the draft get him close, and he's saving it for a last lap lunge. We'll find out. We're in lap 16. We're going to go 17, and maybe 18. It's going to be real close, folks. We'll find out shortly.
Certainly, I have to say there, Jack Hedgecock's getting a bit of a better exit. And indeed, Richard, I'm still waiting to find out exactly what you're willing to bet. You still seem to think that Oleg Lovkov is going to take the win, but we have got a bit of movement there. P5, Andrew Trickett and Colin McKenzie having to trade positions as well.
Andrew Trickett, Colin McKenzie having themselves a good battle as they just exit the chicane here. Trickett up front. Trickett leading McKenzie. In behind them is Mark Kalin, so the three cars all close together. McKenzie jumping up the inside on Trickett. Here we go into the chicane, next chicane, and whoa, Trickett holding him off. McKenzie battling, a little bit bumping. Kalin looking in behind, looking to take advantage, but so far, cars keeping it on track.
I don't know if I'd want to take advantage of someone who's laying pipe, but fair play indeed. The battles are getting extremely intense. Josh Gowin now, currently the hard charger, absolutely sends it in the braking zone. A little bit of an overshot, and that's going to be a good intentions, bad execution, ladies and gentlemen. Didn't quite pay off for him, but thankfully he didn't have any contact with other cars.
Yeah, the first corner there, the chicane, it can be a little difficult, but it's very forgiving with the runoff available. Andrew Trickett continuing to hold off Colin McKenzie and Mark Kalin. That's wide here, folks. Well, that's real wide, but fortunately at Monza, it doesn't punish you unless you lose it, and all these drivers manage to keep everything pointed the straight and narrow way.
Well, I have to wonder as well, the Acura never been known for particularly for top speed. The AMG definitely no slouch, but the Mustang, often known as being one of the faster GT3 and indeed the faster GT4 cars in a straight line. I have to wonder, is he going to be able to unleash that mighty horse and let it go at the end of the straightaway here, as we do indeed start the last lap, and Jack Hedgecock still about 3 tenths a second behind Oleg Lovkov. I have to wonder, is this going to be the time? Are we going to see the Ferrari make its way ahead as Lovkov looking to try and break the draft there? Definitely a controversial opinion myself. Not a fan of weaving on the straight. Certainly you get one move and one move only, but Hedgecock's tailing in right behind.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see if Hedgecock's strategy is going to pay off, or if that was a strategy. We'll see who wins here, Zippy. Hedgecock's, Lovkov. We're coming around the end of the oval. It's now or never. They've got the road course still to go. Hedgecock's going to the outside. Lovkov up the inside. Lovkov got the preferred line. It's going to be a battle of the late breakers. Hedgecock's Lovkov going down into turn 3, the chicane. Lovkov braking late. Hedgecock's going around the outside, which gives him the inside. Hedgecock's now a little bit of pushing, but everything looks relatively clean here, folks. We still got Hedgecock's on the inside, Lovkov on the outside as they're coming around. My God, Zippy, this is going to be a great finish.
I got a feeling William Benson might get the win at this point. These guys keep banging doors and trading paints, but Jack Hedgecock is going to be here on the inside, and indeed, he can brake incredibly late. He'll have a compromised exit. Indeed, side by side, they go through the chicane. A little bit of an overrun there, and indeed, still side by side, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely incredible battling, but I have to wonder how it's going to work out in the long run. Incredible action so far. It is indeed a clash of the Titans, and the Infinity Stones of the drivers ahead are indeed starting to spice things up. Will this be the end of worlds as Hedgecock looks to try and make the cutback?
Yeah, Hedgecock's, unfortunately, he made his move, but great battling back by Lovkov. So right now, this looks like it's Lovkov's to lose about 3 tenths of a second. They've just got a few corners left to go, Zip. If Hedgecock wants to get this done, he's going to have to send it hard.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to put the foot to the floor and hope for a little bit more. As you see, both of them drivers absolutely overrunning a little bit on the exit. And I have a feeling Hedgecoats is what he was hoping for. He's right there in the draft. There's nothing Lovkov can do. It's all going to be about how much momentum they can carry through Parabolica. As you see here, the 690 stays on the inside. Hedgecoats has to go on the long way around legend. And the 88 goes for the switchback, goes on the inside. Needs to get tucked in back behind the draft. The start-finish line quite near to the start. I think Lovkov might have done it. Richard, you should have took the better head. And indeed, Hedgecoats is going to have to sell for second place as they bring it across the line.
That was a fabulous finish. Great racing by both drivers.
Well, you missed out on that, Richard. You're going to have me humiliate myself even more prominently on the stream. Certainly, you dropped the ball on that one, but cut me in on the ladies and gentlemen, or I'm going to keep saying it and watch you absolutely lose your money, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, Kevin Berkowitz is leading that pack, as indeed Felix Feliz. We've not really seen too much of him today. He's trading spots with Brett Furman, as that looks like somebody's just run out of fuel.
Yeah, it looks like Felix Feliz has run out of fuel. He's slowing right down.
Well, fuel like bingo. Fun game until it's not, as indeed Mark Kalin bought it in the pits as well. I have to wonder what happened there. He was further up in the pack as well, hanging out with, I believe, Jacob Fichtner and indeed William Benson. Indeed, a couple of drivers there making it across the line. Indeed, Kalin, I've got to wonder, he must have been short on fuel as well. Didn't make it out over the line.
Yeah, it's rather unfortunate. 45-minute race, and you just can't get that last, few hundred meters. So take a look at Matt Mars. Matt Mars is going to get it across the line, though. Matt Mars, the 43 car, is having himself a decent race. Up 18 positions, folks. 5th in class.
Stephen McLean has picked up a black flag in that Lamborghini, and being the last lap, I don't think he's going to be able to clear it before the end of the race. Lamborghini looking really cool without the rear bumper, but certainly that's not going to be good for his outright race results. As Dave Jensen now, that Porsche, I'd say, has run out of fuel as well. A few people losing a fuel like bingo here.
Yeah, that pit window was pretty small, and I think some of those drivers, were basing it based on the draft they had in the first half, and you just don't get that to finish. As we watch Steve McDonald, pole sitter, unfortunately having some technical difficulties with his AMG this evening. Still mentioned come around 31st, getting back into the race a little bit late.
David Morse right behind him as well in that Ferrari. Certainly some interesting strategies, and indeed, look at the pits. Jay Steffi, Mark Kalin, Dale Peterson, Jerome Baffume. Multiple drivers in the pit lane. These will really shake up the standings, as I have a feeling a few drivers celebrating a little bit unorthodoxly by yeeting the car into orbit.
Well, Zip, that race is over. We hit 61. The over wins tonight. 61, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I reckon I should get 2 back if you try and copy me. Oh my. That's pretty hot, Rob. I got to give you that. I want to know how you did that. I'm just going to take this in for a minute. What do we got here? Race info, lap sled, lead changes. Race to the Nexus showing off here, ladies and gentlemen. Suck it, Rich. Oleg Lovkov takes most laps left. Jack Hedgecoat 2 tenths a second behind. William Benson there in 3rd. Look at that. Can you scroll those results as well? Because we got first 10. I probably should read them. Anyway, look at that. Well, I'm going to give Rob some stick after this broadcast and say, you know what, I'm impressed with the new layout. Indeed, there's a lot going on, but certainly let's go through the results now that he's just thrown that curveball and indeed flexed his muscles, ladies and gentlemen. At the top of the field, we had Oleg Lovkov in first for Soul Precision Racing Black. Jack Hedgecoat was second for Go In Racing with William Benson, the Australian driver, in 3rd. Jacob Fichtner took, Brett Furman took 4th. All right. In SRTE Black.
This is the Pro Division, Zippy.
Oh, I thought we got combined standings. All right. You know what? There we go. You see, he's so busy showing off, he confused the commentator, so I still win. Jacob Fichtner got 4th for SRTE Green with Colin McKenzie in 5th. Andrew Trickett took 6th with Evan Jones, the only Aston Martin in the field, taking 7th. Kevin Berkowitz took 8th with Jared Keane in 9th, and then Brett Furman rounding out your top 10.
Jeff Evans, Wadback Racing in 11th. We had Felix Feliz in 12th. Seb Gauthier, a quiet 13th tonight. Jason Kinger in 14th. We had Josh Cohen, huge charge, up to 15th. Drew DeWee 16th. Carson Quint 17th. David Bush the 3rd, 18th. Pete Mejia in 19th. Barry Cochran, what a strong finish, 20th for Barry.
As we have a look at 21st, Matt Mars with liveries by Matt or something like that. I saw on his car just a few moments ago. He's there in 21st with Ryan O'Connor in 22nd. Andy Mills, I'm going to guess, or Millers, please forgive me there. He's in 23rd with James Hand, my fellow Brit, in 24th. Neil Alexander in that McLaren, definitely not the race he was looking for today, was in 25th with Dave Jensen for Lunatic Racing in 26th. Nick Bruno running out of fuel near the end, I guess, and a Panda went and stole it. He was there in 27th for Robert Jeffries in 28th. Ian Cabana took 29th with Steve McDonald in 30th.
And we had a big field here. Steve McLean in the banged up Lamborghini was 31st. We had David Morris in 32nd. Mark Kalin finished 33rd after there was an issue with the fuel. Chase Steffi 34th. Dale Peterson 35th. We got a used car parking lot here, folks. We got Jerome Berthiaume 4 laps down in 35th. Chase Matsko 37th. 6 laps down. Herbert Pineda 7 laps down. Christopher Rhines 9 laps down. Frank Pisano 12 laps down. Tyler Graff, Andrew Venaro, Jason Park, Sean Provo, all out early.
Yeah, definitely Monza took a few prisoners.
It was fun though, Zip. I've never called a race here, and that oval certainly added a little bit of spice to the race.
Well, I definitely put the spice within the commentary booth because I've sneezed about 4 times, and thankfully you guys haven't caught it. But you know what is good about doing this, ladies and gentlemen? We do get to interview some drivers, and I'll see who we're going to get here first. As that's there you go. We're gonna get well, he pronounces his Discord username as Ogleg, but we actually got Oleg Lovkov now. I gotta say, Oleg, fair play to you. I honestly didn't think you'd be able to defend from Hedgecokes there. How on earth did you do it, especially where you had nobody to drive from to save fuel?
Wow, rude. No, absolutely no hope for me, I guess. No, it was great racing. We were just discussing with Jack because apparently everyone was saving fuel in the race, and so was I, but being in the lead without any slipstream, and obviously my teammate decided to have internet connection issues at the start of the race. Rude. So yeah, fuel saving, and then I messed up my clutches in the pits, and then everything went wrong, but then it was me and Jack till the end of the race. But that last lap was just so much fun.
Yeah, I definitely think you may have been sweating a little bit there, but can you please explain to us at home how you can have all these things soundingly go wrong, win the race, hold off somebody of such caliber where I can have everything go right and still not even make it to the back of the pack? By all means, what kind of strategy are you doing here? Certainly Monza especially, it is a little bit of a drag race, but tell us, like from your perspective, where are you finding pace here at Monza?
I think we have to attribute it to mostly big V8 motor. Because Jack also said that he was struggling a bit, even in slipstream, keeping behind us two Berks, me and Jacob. So I think speed and power is good. So corners, he was definitely fast. Out of corners, especially, he was catching up. But the rest of it, the long straight bits, Merc is very good.
Certainly Oleg Lovkov proving that he's indeed a Jeremy Clarkson fan, which I say, attaboy, speed and power have never hurt anybody. Certainly coming to a sudden stop can be quite the opposite. But Oleg, before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to shout out for today's performance? Certainly your teammate there, definitely having a little bit of a rough scenario. Steve McDonald there showing me in currently P44. I believe he finished in P34. But yeah, definitely. You guys, you could have slam dunked and had the front of the grid locked off, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, did you have a team strategy coming into this as well?
Yeah, it was part of the strategy, him disconnecting before the start of the race. Definitely. That made my life so much easier, having to think about how to save fuel and etc. But it was a great race. I mean, thank you guys for hosting. Thank you guys for commentating over it. Obviously, the entire team, Solpec Precision Racing, our wonderful sponsors. We have a bunch of cool guys, and I think a lot of it is down to that. So a great team, great effort. Well done, me.
Attaboy, I'll say well done you. In which case, you know what, well deserved. He's usually at the top of the grid. Certainly 7 pounds in iRating, and you're running GT3s and proving that you can indeed back up that iRating. So fair play to you, sir. But yeah, definitely another solid win here. And indeed, we hope to catch up with you in another Race and Nexus broadcast.
Definitely. See you next week.
Yes, sir. Well, I do understand Richard has been able to catch up with the one and only Mr. Jack Hedgecokes.
Jack, my man, what a race.
Yeah, what's up, guys? It was a fun battle in the last lap.
That was exciting. We followed a lot of that action. You were sitting there in third for the longest time behind Fichtner and Lovkov. After the pits, we thought you were going to get Oleg as he was exiting pits. You had a good run. Was that your strategy, just to sit there in second and try and save it till the end, or was that just kind of the way it worked out?
Yeah, because I feel like the Ferrari compared to the Merc was not the quicker of the two in a straight line. Because even with the draft, I didn't have much overspeed. Like as y'all saw in that last lap, like I managed to only kind of pull next to him after I side drafted him. But I didn't want to sit in the lead after the pits because my fuel calc was in calculating while I was fuel saving the whole first stint, so I didn't want to run out of fuel. So that's why I sat behind him.
So that was smart.
Yeah. So I overfueled by over half a lap, even while fuel saving the whole beginning of the race, and I only ended with like 0.1 lap left. So yeah, definitely the right call. Just unfortunate, couldn't get around it, but it was a really fun final battle there. Definitely could have done it different, but hey, it's racing. It was fun. So
it was exciting for us too, Jack. We really enjoyed that battle, watching it, and watching your teammate Josh move up 27 positions. Also, that certainly was exciting. Great efforts from Going Racing tonight. Yeah,
he didn't really manage to get together for quali, and he had an incident towards the end, and it pretty much just ruined all the fuel burn he had. So he was going for that hard charger tonight, that's for sure. But he was scaring me sometimes. He made it sound, he was making noises seeming like he wrecked, and I was like, "You good?" And every time he was like, "Oh, nothing." So yeah, congrats to him for going up that many spots.
We're going to VIR next week.
Ooh.
That should be a little more typical of a racetrack for these GT3 cars. We're going to see some good results out of yourself next week, you think?
I'd say I'm pretty good at that track. I haven't driven the Ferrari before. I used to drive in the Merc, and I think we raced there last season too, or the season before that. I think it was season before that we did it in Throttle Freaks. So, yeah, I'd say just aiming to finish well, and not spin out lap one like last week. So, as long as I can stay alive and just finish good, just try and fight for a win like always, and with these top guys, and do my best. That's all I can ask for.
Yeah, you're doing well. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out tonight, Jack?
Just shout out to Josh and anybody from the team overall that's that may be watching tonight, and shout outs to my dad for watching. Yep, I think he is. And then shout out to Logitech as well, like always, for providing the gear I use. Really appreciate their help with getting everything.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot. We'll see you next week, Jack.
Thank you, guys.
Well, that indeed was the on and only absolutely talented driver right there. But I managed to steal another one. It's Jacob Fichtner. Certainly for the AM class, you really didn't care about that title. They absolutely sticking it to a good portion of the grid today in that AMG. And we were hearing from Oleg Lovkov, the V8 there and the mighty power was definitely quite beneficial. But yourself able to emerge on top here. I have a good feeling that draft may have come into play. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your point of view?
I think that's a fair assessment. I think if you combine the Merc and the draft, you've got a pretty good combo on this track.
Well, certainly myself, a big fan of the AMG. I actually remember before it was on this revision, certainly a good points haul for yourself. The nearest competition being about 10, 12 positions back. So this could be a good opportunity for you in the AM class standings. But certainly you're heading over to VIR next. Do you think you're going to be able to continue that incredible performance?
Yeah, luckily I feel pretty confident at VIR, so it's a track I'm familiar with. So yeah, I'm looking forward to next week.
Well, definitely a good solid points haul for yourself, Jacob, in that number 33. But before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to shout out for today's performance?
Yeah, for sure. So my wife for letting me participate in this hobby, and the SRT boys for being great practice mates and making the grind of doing the oval over and over entertaining.
Well, certainly fair play to Jacob there, and certainly a happy wife, happy life, ladies and gentlemen. That is a rumor I've heard, and indeed, happiness can come at a price. I believe the great words of Ron White, diamonds, that'll shut her up. Great comedian, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, Richard Swindell's now starting to sweat slightly, I believe, if not Rob Campbell is. But I got to say, a great drive by yourself, Jacob, and indeed, good use of strategy. The fuel, obviously, part of the equation as well. I had a feeling you was going to do well here, and indeed, you did. Congratulations, indeed. We hope to see you back in the booth at VIR.
Thanks, sirs. Appreciate it, and thanks for all you do.
Well, thank you indeed, Jacob Victor there for SRTE Green. I believe Mr. Swindells has been able to catch up with the one and only Colin McKenzie.
Colin, congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, I was trying to think. Rob and I have covered every race of Throttle Freaks. I believe this is the first time we've had you in the booth. I could be wrong. A great effort. Race victory in the Pro-Am division, 5th overall. Do you have a strategy for tonight?
It was kind of just more to see what happened in the field in the first couple laps than react. Luckily, I was able to stay in the pack with Mark, and then Andrew joined in, and shout out to both of those two for running a hell of a race. Unfortunately, what happened to Mark, but we were able to work together and try to keep moving forward. Ended up working out in our favor with a couple other people dying, but that front pack was just too quick for us to even try to catch up to.
Yeah, Zippy and I were looking, and we were wondering if the three of you could make some gains on the three of them, but great battling nonetheless. Three car battles. Nice to see you come up with, I believe, your first victory in class this season, definitely, and if not in Throttle Freaks. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, it feels good to finally put one all together from qualifying through the race. I know I had some pace at Portimao a couple weeks ago and lost it in the first couple laps there. So unfortunate, but, really good to come back tonight and put one all down together.
So next week we're at VIR. I'm assuming you've got lots of experience there. Most of the drivers do. What are you expecting at VIR?
Yeah, usually a fun technical track. I really enjoy it, especially with the NSX. But it's going to be a challenge. There's not really too many places to pass in there, so you really have to just be steady with your pace and try to flash yourself in some mirrors and try to create some opportunities on it. So qualifying is going to be very important there next week.
Well, you did the Acura proud tonight, the only Acura driver in the field. Anybody like to give a shout out to you tonight, Colin?
Yeah, big shout out to my two teammates, Dave and D Bush, and to the Lunatic guys as well. To everyone who participates in Throttle Freaks and on Tuesday nights and makes this what it is. We really appreciate everybody who comes out tonight, and definitely to you guys for broadcasting it for us.
Thanks a lot, Colin. We hope for some more success from you next week.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
You too.
Well, it looks like we are ready for our final interview of the night. And indeed, Andrew Trickett, P6, ladies and gentlemen, overall. And indeed, I believe, P2 in the GT3 Pro-Am class. And not only that, he's from Montreal, Quebec. Certainly a good fellow Canadian here. And indeed, Montreal, home of the Canadian Formula 1 circuit. But certainly, this was a little bit different. We are here at MONZA, the back roads of Italy, if it comes to a racetrack. It's certainly a good result for yourself. Andrew, tell us a little bit about your strategy here at MONZA.
Well, I got to say, that was probably the most fun I've had all season racing. That was amazing. Such a great combo. Just bump drafting the entire time, sitting in a little pack with Colin and Mark. It was crazy. I think Mark was bump drafting me solid for like 2 or 3 laps. It was crazy.
Well, definitely the bump draft, a very potent method of trying to not only that, catch up with the field. And certainly I did have to wonder as well if there was some new camaraderie formed with the aim goal being not to lose the pack ahead. But certainly we are indeed heading over to VIR for the next round. Definitely a completely different set of circumstances. There's not going to be quite the banked corners again. But yourself, VIR, would you put that on your Princess Approved track list?
Not yet. I got to put in a bunch of practice, I think, before I can say that. I haven't done too many laps of VIR, but it is a fun track. Tough to pass, I think. But yeah, I got to put in some practice to be a little bit more confident there.
Well, certainly we are going to wish you the best of luck. And my biggest advice would honestly be mastering Oak Tree. If you get that turn right, you're going to get a wicked slipstream going down. I believe it's Madison Avenue, but don't quote me on the name of that straight. But you need to get the good clean exit. But certainly, Andrew, before we let you go, after that fantastic position there, able to get second in class, is there anybody you'd like to share out for today's performance?
Just a big thanks to you guys. Thanks for doing what you do. Put on a great show. I appreciate it every week, and it's all the guys we race against for racing clean. It's great fun out there.
Well, definitely, we do appreciate that. And indeed, I'm sure your fellow racers appreciate that as well. And a good chance to say, if you haven't done it already, make sure that you share this stream to your friends. Irritate the snot out of them, ladies and gentlemen. You have my express permission to do so. Andrew Trickett, I'm looking at you for that indeed. And certainly make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. But ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for P6 overall and indeed second in class. It's Andrew Trickett in the number 514 Mercedes AMG.
Thank you, guys.
Well, Zippy, that was an awesome week of racing. Week 7 done. We've only got 3 left.
Yeah, it certainly was a lot of fun myself. VAR, it's on the Princess Approved track list. I am definitely looking forward to that one. And indeed, it's going to be some even closer competition. Certainly, Monza combined, a unusual behemoth of a track. Certainly one of the longer ones with 6.22 miles, ladies and gentlemen. Or roughly speaking, I'd say about 4.5, 5 kilometers with a bit of zippy math here. It was a little bit foggy. It was a little bit cool, but certainly...
It's 10 kilometers, Zip. It's 10 kilometers, but yeah, we're good.
I went the wrong way, okay? There's a reason I'm not an accountant. But certainly, now that got you tonight, of all things. But certainly, thank you very much for watching Throttle Freaks GT3 League here on Racing Nexus. And again, please hit that subscribe button. A huge thanks to Apex Sim Racing, Track Cams for Gourmets as well. And indeed, to the commentary staff and producer here. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the booth today, the one and only Mr. Richard Needs a Nickname Swindells, with Rob the Goatee Campbell at the production controls. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll be seeing you next week here on Racing Nexus for more Throttle Freaks GT3 League.
Good night, folks.